Hello everybody and welcome back to Crusader Kings, where we are currently heading over towards here and hoping that this will end this war. That would be the dream, but I don't know how successful that will really be. We do have these nomads firing off in apparently 7 months. We'll see how that ends up going. But for now, I just want to hop over here and, we definitely have some issues with the ticking war score, but that's okay. I'm not too concerned about that. So we're going to walk southward here for sure. And we'll see what this looks like. 39? That's not ideal. Okay. Well, we're just going to hop down here and grab this siege. This is of the allied ruler here, so that doesn't actually do anything for us. We can hop down here, though, grab this siege, and they're running away. Okay, I was hoping they would stay sieging, because the plan was to come fight them out over here. As it is, I'm just thinking about all of this up over here, and I'm thinking that's a long ways away. Maybe we still want to try to chase them down. They're holding up in the mountains, and that's actually kind of a good call on their part. But we won that battle. Oh, we could gain just. Would that give us any stewardship? It would. Stewardship +2. That's pretty solid. There's also temperate here, which would also give us stewardship +2 and a small health boost. Which do we want? I'm actually going to take temperate. A small health boost and 2 stewardship is pretty solid. So we're going to hop out over here. The Mongols have become the de jure liege of Daria. They've proclaimed a new kingdom. Okay. That kingdom was ours until they destroyed it, and I'm very upset about that. It will be ours again. Okay, so this is now done, and we will enforce these demands. There we go. Fantastic. So now we, of course, want to put down our troops here. There we go. And we're going to need to grant out some territories over here. So we're going to need to grant this, and we're going to not construct a holding. We're going to grant this, and we're going to grant this. So as usual, that means that we're going to have too many vassals. This whole thing is very awkward, and we're going to hop over here, and we're going to grant vassals that are in charge of nomadic camps out over this direction. So 1, 2, and this should be 3. And now we should be at 0. Perfect. Okay. So that all seems fine for right now. Now we're still at 9 of 7. I was hoping that +2 stewardship would bring us to 9 of 8. Sadly, it did not. We'll see what happens when we come of age. Now, we are 11 at this moment. 1 September is when we turn 12. So that means we can have a coronation at that point, and that's a huge deal. We absolutely want to have a coronation. I'm going to assign this person as our steward, and that will be fine. This ransom is not acceptable. Get out of here. That is never, ever, ever going to happen. That's just not a thing. So I want to come down over into these directions here, and we're getting close to maxing some of these out, but I would like to build here. There we go. This ransom's fine. We'll take that. Wonderful. So we're definitely a lot stronger at this point, and so the Mongols are up over here with their kingdom tier title. We have a de jure claim on them, but we also potentially have a de jure claim on an area like this out over here. This is just very awkward out this direction. We have de jure on some of this, right? So that's something to think about. Now, we do have nomads brewing up here in 1 month, and my plan is to just wait on that firing and get them dealt with. So, yeah, 10 gold is fine here. This is absolutely fine as well. Wonderful. Oh, we did go to 9 of 8. That's really good. That's really, really good. We're going to want to get to 9 of 9. That's probably not going to happen until we either get our education trait, if we get a good education trait, or until we get a wife. It's going to be one or the other. So at this point, we're going to summon the physician. There is a bad plague occurring, the Taiga Flux. That's probably pretty far away if it's called the Taiga Flux. Mongol Sweats up over here, Taiga Flux up here. So I don't think that's going to cause us problems down here. So I'm not too worried about it. We'll opt for a soft approach, and that seems fine. Okay. Now there's those nomads. You want freedom? You'll have it in death. So we're going to get ourselves the nomads taken care of. Where are they? Where is this fine gentleman? Oh, he's right out over here. Okay, so this is the war goal then. Sure. And all we need to do theoretically is raise our men-at-arms here and make our way in and crush that. That may end the war. This is about half of their troops. So now the question is, how long will it take us to gather here? It's taking a while. They're going to finish their siege. Well, that's unfortunate. And now they're walking directly into our force here, which is not gathered. So they're going to stack wipe this force, which there's nothing here for them to stack wipe. And then they're going... Wait a second. Well, that was lucky. Okay. There's now a thing to stack wipe. Fantastic. So we stack wiped them. That did not end the war, unfortunately. Now, he just raised up additional forces here. And we'll just get this taken back, no problem. War's actually done. Perfect. So we'll enforce those demands. That gains us 40 legitimacy, which is nice. And this is apparently ours. We should not be holding this. So I'm going to grant that out. There's also a territory up here that is ours. We shouldn't be holding this either. So those are going to be granted out, and we want to give some of these quasi-landed vassals over here then. So these nomadic camps, they're going to go over here. No, I don't want to grant titles. I want to grant vassal. There we go. Cool. So that looks better. It's not perfect, but it's now the 3rd of January, and you know what that means. That's right, we can have a coronation. So we're very, very happy about that. Incredibly happy. This is probably going to be down at the traditional coronation location. Yeah, absolutely it is. Do we actually need a mountaineer? The answer is no. A caravan master is likely enough. Yeah, that looks good. So we're going to bump up the celebrations and the ceremony. Our goal is currently to impress attendees, and I think that's accurate. This is going to cost 3,103 to do. So for now, we're going to have to not do that. And we're just going to have to save up for a couple of months. It's not going to be very long, so that's good. I'd be very, very happy to get this done sooner rather than later, because we're losing 2.5 legitimacy every month that we're not doing this. So that's, of course, a problem. Now, this disease down here, this is Deccan boils, and it's a minor disease. It shouldn't be a big deal, theoretically, anyway. 36 gold, yes, please. We will happily take that. And we had a successor for one of our accolades. That's understood. So we need to go into our Shorviers and accolades here. Apparently all of our Shorviers are currently sick. That's exciting. And we're good here. So now, of course, we're going to need to restore some of these. And we can actually restore the Dragon of Mahoya Daparam? Mahoya Daparam? I think that's approximately how that's supposed to be pronounced. Maybe not precisely, but approximately. I'm going to pay to recruit this guy and have him as a successor here. He will probably die before he actually has a succession, but that's fine for now. Okay, so we need to get some more money flowing in here. That will be the dream. And do we have our court chaplain on controlled disease? Yes, we do. I mean, it's not a huge amount of plague resistance, but... Okay, so we've got about 2 months here before we're ready to go. Yes, we'll accept that. That looks good. About 1 month to go now before we can do this. Any moment now. We're just waiting for that last batch of income. There we go. So now we should be able to do our coronation here. We'll confirm this, and we'll head on over to here. Now, there is potentially some disease going to be happening, but that's okay. And we'll just bump this up, and we'll start this coronation. We got to get this done sooner rather than later. So off we go for our coronation. Fantastic. It's going to take a little while, for sure, but this is not okay. We will not accept that. So we've arrived at our coronation location. Soon our reign begins. Magnificence has been heavily damaged by the factions opposing us. I mean, we're still at 3 of 5 magnificence, so that's not too bad. 9 months until the coronation begins. Now, during this time, we are still dropping in legitimacy every month until we get the crowned ruler law. So, that's going to be painful, but we got to get this done ASAP. So what is this faction? We've got... Oh, look, nomads. Okay. Those nomads are very irritating. So the question is, during this time, do we want to expand the realm at all? Well, we can't do that while we're at an activity. Okay, that's a little unfortunate. Yeah, we can't start a new war while we're at this activity, and we have to get this coronation done sooner rather than later. So I think we really, really, really need to do the coronation, and I don't think this was a mistake at all. So at this moment, this guy is not going to be released. That is just not going to be a thing. And the real question is, when can we get rid of our half-sister as regent here? I think it's going to be kind of difficult. I do think it's going to be kind of more difficult. But I'm just going to let that be a thing for right now. I'm not too concerned about it. I'm not going to let these guys go. They can stay in prison. We don't want them forming new factions. Although, we're incredibly powerful at this point, but the game doesn't necessarily believe it. It's kind of odd that the game doesn't believe it, but it doesn't. So, here we are. So, the good news is we're at 9 of 8, and that means it's going to be very easy to get ourselves up to our target domain limit. We may even be able to get up to 10 pretty easily, which would be, well, that would be our target. Our minimum is 9, our target is 10. Welcome, one and all. This lady is not looking so good. What's she got going on? Great pox. Well, okay. Welcome, one and all. Okay, so 25 gold, and she would become our supporter, or we would gain prestige for every supporter. I'm going to take the gold and the supporter. Thank you very much. What else do we have here? Also, this is kind of sticking off the edge. Let's just move this over. There we go. So magnificence would go up, or magnificence would go up notably, and we're going to take that. I want as much magnificence as we can get because I want that sweet, sweet legitimacy. So we're just going to have the magnificence go up again. We're choosing for magnificence every chance we can get here, pretty much. We're not a patriarch, so that's not going to be a thing. We can start forming a friendship with our cousin, or we can gain some prestige and lose some stress. Now, we have no stress, but I am a little concerned about our prestige. I feel like we're going to need more of that. So, we'll take that. Cool. Family entombed, huh? No. Get out of here. What is this ransom? No. Get out of here. And here, we can gain 24 legitimacy. We will be better than our forebears because there's been quite a number of them that have been very underwhelming. There's no doubt about that. We'll be better than them. So we built up our legitimacy a little bit there, and that's fantastic. We'll keep our eye on her. I don't care about the stress right now. It's not a big deal. Magnificence increasing slightly for 450 gold. I mean, that's a lot of money, but we've got it, so I'm going to do that. Fantastic. Now, we've got this here. No, we decline that. And, of course, we're the very image of a great Samrat. And that's going to increase our magnificence notably. That brings us up to level 4 out of 5. We'll say the words as we must. They hate me, yet they cannot stop me. Indeed. Okay, 81 legitimacy. That's very good. That brings us up to true ruler, and that's fantastic. High anointment. Cool. Okay, and there's the crowned sovereign law. That's big. That means that our legitimacy is no longer draining away. And what are we going to go for? How big would we have to get if we were expanding the realm? Woof, that's 160 counties in 20 years. If we have to deal with rebellions again, it's not going to be a thing. What are we thinking? It's just nomads right now. I feel like we're not going to have that many rebellions. But 160 counties is a lot of counties. We do have a lot of de jure, though. I'm tempted to do it. I'm going to regret it later. Does this say what happens if we fail the oath? It doesn't. We still don't know, because last time our ruler died right before he failed the oath. I'm going to take this. It's very ambitious. I'm aware of that. Okay. With that aside, it's time to celebrate. So we're now in the celebration, and that's fantastic. We can make friends with our aunt, or we can lose 20 stress. We have no stress, so we'll make friends with our aunt. Magnificence increasing slightly or increasing notably. We're going to take the notable increase. We would love it if we could get 5 more magnificence. And in fact, this might be a thing. We're at 98. We need 2 more magnificence. So our aunt would become our friend? Sure. Probably not a bad thing to have some friends. What is this ransom? No, this is not acceptable, and this is also not acceptable, and this is also not acceptable. Okay, what a good evening. So we'll continue forward here. We just need that extra 2 magnificence. And this is not any of that. So we gain the trait shy, paranoid, or craven. No matter what happens here, this is going to be a bad situation. Shy is probably what we'll go for. Yeah, I think we'll probably go for shy here. It's not ideal, but it's fine. And this is now gaining us stress because we're shy. We'll distract the converging guests anyway. It's okay. So let's see here. I would love to get a little bit more magnificence here. Okay, sad. We were short by 2 magnificence. Our reign begins. Okay. 2 magnificence. So, can we start up wars for expansion before we return home? Yes, we can, and we should. So, what we need to do here is we need to be thinking about how we're going to rapidly expand. We've got this guy out over here. Most of his territory is de jure ours. So that alone will be a good start. But it's also kind of not exactly bordering us. So there's that. There's all of this up over here that I would love to take over. And we have made some progress up over this way. So what I'm thinking right now is we just kind of expand our way this way by first attacking this guy. This would be a subjugate CB. And then bring them under tribute. I don't want to do that. Okay. Where do we have... Potentially here. Yes. We can do this. And then if we also declared on this guy, like this, we don't have enough prestige to do that. So that's understood. Now we do have these nomads rather, that are going to spawn in 2 months. I'm not actually very concerned about them. I'm going to drop our rally point here. We're going to get our men-at-arms in here, and we're just going to walk in this direction for now. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 counties. I mean, that's a drop in the bucket over the 160 that we need, but it's progress anyway. So we're going to have to move in pretty quickly, right? And that's understood. We have a lot of work to do, and we can't really waste time. And we've got another big plague hitting us. Okay, sure. So that's fine. We're going to head in here. There we go. And this is all de jure our territory. So we are going to be taking that for sure. Now we're going to need a lot of prestige to get all of these claims made. De jure claims are relatively cheap, to be sure. You want freedom? You'll have it in death. So we'll deal with that guy right now, actually. Where is he? Okay. Noted. Here. So I'm going to drop a rally point right down over here. We're going to bring in some Holy Order troops, I think. We'll bring in these guys. And I'm also going to raise some additional levy forces here. Let's open this up and keep an eye on how many levy forces we have in, but we need to move in this direction. This is unfortunate layout, but I'm going to take the attrition here. I don't want to lose legitimacy. We'll root them out, but it's not great. So we're looking to raise up how many forces here? Well, we need about 13,000. So that seems fine for now. We're besieging here, and we're going to besiege here next. This is sufficient. So we're going to group these together. We're going to stop gathering, and we're going to walk in right here. The idea here is we are going to be defending in the mountains, and we're looking to stack wipe this force. That's a lot of money. I'm going to actually lose a little bit of legitimacy there, but I don't like it. So these guys are idle. I don't want them to be idle. We're going to walk down over here. We need a new tax collector, and that's going to be this guy. Perfect. Okay, so we did succeed in stack wiping that force. That's big. We can come down here, and apparently we need to grant this out. That's good to know. That, of course, means that we have a vassal that we need to grant away, and we'll give that once again to this guy. No, not titles, vassals. There we go. Cool. So that seems fine for the moment. Now, these guys are going to be walking down over here, and we need to eliminate that force. We're idle here. We're going to walk up over this direction and stack wipe nothing at all. Okay. I'm just going to walk up over here. I was hoping that we'd catch them, but they changed their pathing. Understandable. We're going to walk in here and end this war. Okay. This rebellion will be over soon. How long will it take us to get there? 55 days? Unfortunately, they're going to get this occupied by then. But this war is now over. We'll enforce those. Okay, this guy became our rival, and he's very upset. Fair enough. Fair enough. We were kind of rude to him, to be honest. So I'm going to grant all of these titles out. We don't need to hold these. In fact, we really, really don't want to hold them. My question is, what is a de jure kingdom level title out over here? We can also make titles to get prestige, and that's probably what we're going to end up doing. We need to come down over this way, and you can see our income is getting worse. This is because we're over our vassal limit by a significant amount, and we need to deal with that. So that's all understood. Out over this direction, I want to check in on the kingdom tier title out here. Transoxania? Done. We'll create that. So that's perfect. That gets us some legitimacy, and the de jure capital of that is right here, which is in our territory, surprisingly enough. So I'm going to grant this guy the title of the Kingdom of Transoxania right here. 9 vassals go with, and he's a little bit awkward, and not all of these that were de jure went with this. That's odd, isn't it? We can feudalize some nomadic holdings, apparently. How do we do this? Feudalize holding. 2,500 gold. That's a lot of gold. So these are currently our holdings, and we need to either grant these out or feudalize them and then grant them out. Is what that's going to end up meaning. Okay, so we can transfer this vassal, which we want to do. And there we go. So we're currently 2 direct vassals above our limit, and I want to give this guy these 2 vassals up over here for sure. I want to give him this vassal as well, and then this vassal out over here. Cool, something like that. So that gets us all of that territory. Now that's still border gory. That's understood. But what that gets us is the ability to go after this more easily. We could do it previously, but this is much more easily. Of course, we need to have our armies not be raised, which means that we need to make our way down over here. And I'm wondering, do we have an organizer to get us here any faster? Not an available one. I see several unavailable ones. This guy. Okay, so he's going to be arriving here in 37 days at this point, 24 days. We're still not going to get there in time. So if we're not going to get there in time no matter what, we should probably not have this guy be in charge here. And yeah, we'll just give it a moment here. I'm going to swap this guy for this guy. There we go. And let's fight this battle, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that will end this war. And we can put our forces down. That would be the dream, because we can't start any more wars until we're through this one. That didn't look like a stack wipe, because it wasn't. We're at 97%, and ticking will get us there. So that seems fine for now. They are actually up over here, 12 months on that, so that should be okay. I'm not too concerned. What is this faction? Independence? Okay, we should form an alliance with this lady if we can. Well, that looks inauspicious. Indeed. Very inauspicious. Yep, nothing going on there. So maybe this guy, but he was forced to join the faction. She has 364 reasons to do this. Outside liege de jure. You know what? Let's look to see what empire titles we can make. We can't create Tibet. We have Bengal. We could create Rajasthan. I'll definitely create that. So that looks good. Red Horde cannot be created. Persian Empire, no. We already hold Chagatai. We already hold Mongolia. Siberia, we can't hold. And we can't create any of these Empire tier titles out over here. Okay. So that got us Rajasthan anyway. Is this lady part of that? No, she's up over here, which means that she wants to be part of Tibet. We're pretty close to being able to create Tibet, to be honest. If we were to come in here and attack this guy, we'll see what our CBs are after we finish this up. I'm waiting on ticking war score here, which hasn't actually started. I'm going to leave behind a small number of troops here. So I'm going to leave behind, like, these guys. And we're going to walk up over here. Let's make sure that this has a siege leader, just in case. But ticking war score hasn't started yet, and that's a bit of a problem. Siege leader? Siege leader? Do we not have a single siege leader right now that's available? That's kind of insane. Okay, I guess we don't. There's some unavailable ones, but I'll just leave this be then. Okay, so we're at 97% right now. They're going to make their way up over here. And 900 gold to get this guy? I mean, we probably have somebody who's just fine, right? Let's see what we've got for a personal physician here. Terrible, terrible. Yeah, this guy's good. Do we have any excellent? Can we sort by aptitude? There we go. That'll be a lot easier. So this guy will do. Okay. So that looks fine. A soft approach is indeed best. I really want to wrap this up quickly here. So 5 months left here, 7 months here. They're retreating past here. Okay, I thought they were going to be grouped together here. So that's good. Unfortunately, ticking still hasn't started here. Okay, they're now turning around. We're on our way in. So we've got 3 months left here. We're hoping that we get decent siege events and that they don't. But we're going to come in and fight them right up over here. We'll win the battle, and that will prevent that. And we're probably capped on battle war score, right? We are. So we're capped on battle war score. We just need to get some other form of war score. Now, this is still going to theoretically happen, and I really want to deal with this lady. There's just not much for options. 206 reasons. So I think the plan... They're actually too weak to send an ultimatum right now. Interesting. Okay, war's over. Fantastic. We'll enforce those demands and disband our troops. That is top priority. So with that done, we now have this still as a bit of a problem. And we've got these Maturidi populists. I'm going to demand conversion from this guy. It's probably not going to do anything, but we'll do that. And then the question is, can we start up a war here that would allow us to form the Empire of Tibet? So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, possibly 9, 10, 11 counties. I don't think these are within the Empire of Tibet. Neither are these. So this is going to be like 8. And to form this, we need more than that. So we would have to go after, like, Sang here. That's doable. That is doable. I'm going to go into Kingdom tier titles, and we're going to... Actually, can we just create titles in here? Titles can be created. Okay. So I'd like to create the Kingdom of Vladimir. We'll hold that ourselves for the time being. And that boosts up our prestige, with the idea being that we need to declare war on this guy, pushing this guy's claims. Now, we could maybe make this cheaper as well. Yeah, he's of a different religion. So if we were to ask him to convert, there's a 17% chance that he does. He'll do it for a hook. I'm going to give him the hook. Because now we're going to declare this war, and that's so much cheaper. So that's going to get us a bunch of titles up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, plus 11, 12, but I don't know if those are within Tibet. So that'll get us a good chunk of what we need. I'll declare that, and I'm going to start raising up our forces right down over here. But it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are going to see about taking over the Bashkirs up over here and just continuing to expand out over this direction. We need to get Tibet fully under our control, and otherwise, we need to expand. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge, STL, Spock, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.